You're witnessing the very end of a slow death. A once mighty retailer forced into a fire sale.
It was going downhill slowly but surely as far as stocking things. But poor Kmart, finished, done, over with.
Does anyone else love Kmart? Growing up, Kmart was a major part of my childhood. Me and my dad would visit our local Kmart almost every single day. To be honest, I'm kind of a retail nerd and I have been since I was a little kid, and Kmart was a major driving force behind that. Oddly enough, if you ask me any question about Circuit City, Ames, Zayres, Caldor, Bradley's, KB Toys, Hills, and all these others, there's a good chance I probably know it. Kmart, however, stuck out to me the most. Maybe it's because I was actually old enough to experience it, but nonetheless, Kmart holds a special place in my heart. You know, looking back at it, me and my dad rarely ever actually bought anything from Kmart. The product selection was horrible. I mean, this is an entire aisle full of just candy corn. I think we only ever got a Blu-ray player and a John Cena Christmas ornament. All in all, I think we spent more money at the Little Caesars pizza station than we did the rest of the store. The thing with Kmart is that at some point, you stopped going there to shop and you started going there to look. Kmart is special to me. It always has been, and unfortunately, nobody else. Kmart has been dying the slowest death imaginable. They filed for bankruptcy for the first time in 2002 and have been on the decline ever since. Countless store closings, little attention to detail, almost no effort being put into reviving the brand. Kmart has refused to go away, even surviving another bankruptcy in 2018. During this time, Kmart's stores deteriorated until a level that's almost unprecedented. But eventually, it proved to be too much, and Kmart would shut the majority of their stores down, leaving only a handful of stores left. Kmart at its peak had over 2,000 stores, but that has dwindled down to only 2 locations left in the mainland United States today. There's Kmart Miami, which has been downsized into the former Garden Center, essentially creating a store the size of a Dollar General. There's also Kmart Bridgehampton, the last true full-size Kmart remaining. I've wanted to go to both of these stores for a while now, as my last Kmart experience was in 2020, a month before my local store announced its closing sale. I went into it not knowing it would be my last time shopping at a Kmart, and that upset me. I have never gotten closure with something that has had such a major impact on my life, but thankfully, there's still plenty of time. Or is there?
Kmart, once one of America's leading discount retailers, is closing its last full-size store.
The other day, I woke up, I checked my phone, and I saw some devastating news. The last full-size Kmart in Bridgehampton, New York would be closing down for good. This news shocked me. Even though the writing had been on the wall for the longest time, it was still something that you didn't think would really happen. The idea that a massive, globally known retail giant can essentially just vanish is a crazy concept. Kmart at one point was the second largest retailer in the United States. It was a staple of the American shopping industry. Without Kmart, we wouldn't have many aspects of the modern day in-store experience that we know today. Kmart was closing its final store, and I had yet to see it. This bothered me. I was upset. I wanted to visit Kmart one last time before it was too late. But unfortunately, I live far away from New York, and the sheer idea of driving to Kmart is an incredibly ridiculous and unrealistic idea. Okay, so that's exactly what I decided to do, and here's that story. Okay, so first of all, I live in New Hampshire, so thankfully I'm not too far away. Getting to Kmart takes about 5 hours, give or take, and there's a few different paths you can go. I could drive through New York City and take the Long Island Expressway, a road notorious for being dangerous, and to be honest, I'm not the greatest driver. Listen, I'm not going to expose my full record for a YouTube video, but I will say that I blew my transmission up in an automatic that I had just bought, so I'm not that great. My other option was to take a ferry from Connecticut to Long Island, and obviously, that's the option that I went with. So it was Monday, September 30th, 2024, and I began my journey to Kmart. Gonna be completely honest with you guys, I didn't plan on doing a voiceover for this portion of the video, but unfortunately, almost all of my footage doesn't include audio. Never mind that, the drive was going pretty well. Driving through my home state of New Hampshire was nice as always. Here's me screaming about how much I hate driving in Massachusetts, and Connecticut was surprisingly nice. During the drive, I thought a lot about how Kmart has had such an oddly huge impact on my life, and how I'm genuinely sad to see it go. I also thought about how all of this could have been avoided if it wasn't for Eddie Lampert. Fast Eddie took Kmart and ran it into the ground along with another famous retailer, Sears. He bought both of these companies, stripped them of several assets to just flip them for his own personal gain. He refused to modernize stores, he refused to do anything to save the company, he refused to keep the legacy of Kmart strong. Take the money and run Lampert's actions cost hundreds of thousands of jobs, thousands of abandoned buildings in almost every US city, and he is 100% to blame for the downfall of Kmart and Sears. If it wasn't for him, there's a good chance Kmart would still be around today. There is no reason why Kmart should have had the downfall that it did. Respectfully, Eddie Lampert should be paying for my gas. Speaking of which, I decided to stop and get gas at a Connecticut rest stop. Okay, by the way, I drive a Kia Soul. This entire thing is being made in a Kia Soul. Little did I know, however, that this would be a big mistake. You see, I didn't realize it at first, but I was running short on time, and this ferry had a rule that you must arrive 15 minutes before departure time. This gas trip made it so I would arrive at 10:50, 10 minutes before departure time. I was panicking at the idea that I wasn't going to be able to make the boat, because if I didn't make the boat, then I would need to turn around and take the New York City route. And like I said earlier, I am not the greatest driver, especially on busy highways, so I would much rather take my Kia Soul on a boat than have to deal with any of that.
Okay, I'm going 100 in Connecticut. This is probably a bad idea. Anyways, I might miss the boat.
Time was running very fast, and as I drove toward New London, Connecticut, I started to lose hope. Before I knew it, the time quickly passed 10:45, and when I finally got to the boat, they let me on anyway. Yeah, as it turns out, I was freaking out for nothing because that rule was a complete lie. I got on the boat with no problem. The boat ride was super nice, and before I knew it, the boat had arrived in New York. I made it to Long Island, and after another hour and a half of driving, I had finally made it to Kmart. Oh my god. Seeing an open Kmart in person for the first time in 4 years was surreal to me. This is going to be the last time that I would ever walk into a Kmart, and oddly enough, it was exciting. Walking into Kmart, you can immediately see all of the going out of business sale signs, and almost no Kmart branding whatsoever. The seasonal department is full of bar stools, oddly placed furniture, and for some reason, just a lot of lawn chairs. Like, a lot of them. The store had a bunch of just oddly placed, no information given products.
I don't know what this is, though. 4 carts Xbox?
And all the remaining products that they did have, they would really spread out over all the shelves to make them seem way fuller than they really are.
I don't know what store has this much salt.
Oh, and the pricing structure that this store uses is absolutely insane.
Are you telling me that 2 rolls of paper towels are $12? Why wouldn't you just buy the singular ones over there? Matter of fact, why wouldn't you just buy the singular ones right here?
But anyways, enough with my yapping, here are some of the highlights from Kmart.
I love how they're just displaying your products in a miles per hour bucket.
Kmart means you get quality.
Oh, that's flat. That's also flat. That's flat. That's flat.
Service does not take.
Did anyone else know that Green Giant made kitchen utensils?
That you will agree. Kmart is all the things a great store should be. Quality.
Oh my god.
Discount prices. Satisfaction always.
That's aged horribly.
Is all the things
Just a platform?
store should be. Quality at discount prices.
$23 for some time.
Going into this trip, there was mainly one thing that I wanted to get from Kmart, and that was an employee-branded t-shirt. So obviously, I had to ask the guy, who I presumed to be the manager, if I could get a shirt.
Do you guys have any leftover like Kmart branded stuff, like any t-shirts or anything like that?
Pretty much the t-shirts they stopped like years ago with that.
Kmart couldn't get me a shirt because they stopped making them. That company cared so little about its stores that they didn't even bother supplying its employees with branded shirts anymore. After talking with the manager for a bit and just seeing the state of the store, it was clear to me that there had been no level of maintenance done on any of the store in years. Knowing what Kmart once was and seeing it now just showcased how brutal of a downfall this chain had. Everything was extremely outdated. The registers looked like they were from the 90s, they had Jake Paul posters, and they were still playing messages about COVID-19 over the intercom.
In accordance with legal requirements, wear a mask while while shopping throughout the store.
Kmart was a sad, sad store. But I think that was kind of the charm to it. This company gave up a long time ago, and it got to the point of no return. Kmart became a novelty. What reason would you have to go to Kmart other than to say you're going to Kmart? When I was cashing out, I spoke with the cashier who revealed to me that the store is closing because someone purchased the lease. Funny enough, I ended up coming across the same cashier online and I realized an opportunity. You see, we had a chance to reveal to the general public how Kmart has been operating these past years, and I'm happy to say that he was more than willing to participate. So I just want to say a huge shout out to my boy Mateo. I put his Instagram down in the description. Huge thank you to him. I was really curious as to how the store was operating. You know, how were they getting product, and if there was any corporate structure to the company whatsoever. He revealed to me that Kmart as a company is no longer partnered with anybody, meaning that all the store's operations are just being run by the top manager. Mateo was really nice to send me a video of how their POS system works, which to be honest looks really outdated. Throughout my conversation with him, he revealed to me that up until now, the store was typically pretty slow. However, he did say that the closing came as a surprise. He revealed to me that the store only has until October 20th, and after that, it'll close for good. This trip meant so much to me. While it may have just been a silly little idea I had, I got the opportunity to experience something for the very last time, and that was shopping at a Kmart. I scheduled my boat ride back to be during sunset, and it was during this when I reminisced on what I had done.
You know, I gotta say, this trip has been a little eye-opening. I was able to see Kmart for the last time in my life, something that genuinely means a lot to me. I'm never gonna have the opportunity to be able to walk into a Kmart again. I'm never gonna have the opportunity to be able to buy something from Kmart again. I feel like I kind of took Kmart for granted, you know? Like, I went into Kmart so many times without really realizing that eventually there would be a last time. You know, it took a boat for me to realize to not take things for granted. I don't know.
Despite the fact that I'll never go to a Kmart again, I'm satisfied with my closure. Kmart was an American icon that refused to modernize to the point of a brutal collapse. Kmart overstayed their welcome. They should have been done a long time ago. But Kmart's legacy has and will continue to influence retail in the world as we know it. Kmart will always hold a special place in my heart, and I'm happy to say that I am a proud Kmart shopper.
Dreaming dreams we all do, working